History is full of unexpected turns. Sometimes these turns happen in the kitchen. A ship lands on a foreign shore carrying not just soldiers but seeds, spices, and new ways of cooking. An accidental trade route opens, bringing with it strange and wonderful ingredients. These historical accidents can create something truly special. They can blend worlds together on a single plate. The story of Filipino food is one of these beautiful accidents. It is a tale of how a rich native cuisine met wave after wave of foreign influence. It did not get lost. Instead, it grew stronger, more complex, and more delicious. This is the story of how colonization unintentionally helped create a culinary masterpiece. The journey of Filipino food is a lesson in adaptation and creativity. It shows us how a culture can take foreign elements and make them completely its own. Imagine the surprise of the first Filipinos seeing a tomato or a potato. Think about their ingenuity in taking a Spanish stew and giving it a local twist with vinegar and soy sauce. This process was not always easy or peaceful. It was born from centuries of trade, conquest, and exchange. Yet, through it all, the Filipino spirit of resourcefulness shone through. The result is a cuisine that is both familiar and exotic, a vibrant tapestry woven from threads from all over the world, yet distinctly Filipino in its heart and soul. What makes a food culture a masterpiece? It is more than just a collection of recipes. It is the stories behind the food. It is the way a simple dish can connect generations. It is the memory of a grandmother's cooking, the comfort of a shared meal during a storm, and the joy of a fiesta celebrating a good harvest. Filipino food is filled with these stories. Each dish, from the simplest bowl of rice to the most elaborate lechon, carries with it a piece of the nation's history. It speaks of survival, of making do with what was available, and of turning necessity into something wonderful and celebrated. This essay invites you on a journey to explore this remarkable cuisine. We will travel back in time to the pre-colonial Philippines, a land of bountiful seas and lush forests. We will then witness the arrival of different cultures, Spanish, Chinese, and American, and see how their ingredients and techniques were welcomed and transformed. We will look at iconic dishes and understand how they became symbols of Filipino identity. This is not just a history of food. It is a celebration of the Filipino people's incredible ability to absorb, adapt, and create. It is a story of how a nation's heart can be found in its kitchen, beating strong and full of flavor. Before any foreign ships reached its shores, the Philippines was already a land of incredible culinary richness. The more than 7,000 islands offered a diverse and abundant pantry. The seas teemed with fish, crabs, shrimp, and shellfish. The lush, tropical forests provided wild game, edible ferns, and countless varieties of fruits like mangoes, bananas, and calamansi. In the lowlands, rice paddies stretched like green carpets, providing the staple grain that remains the heart of every Filipino meal. This natural bounty was the foundation of the native cuisine. It was a food culture deeply connected to the land and the sea, shaped by the rhythm of the seasons and the generosity of nature. The cooking methods of early Filipinos were simple yet effective, designed to bring out the natural flavors of the ingredients. Grilling, or inihaw, was a popular way to cook fish and meat over hot coals, giving them a smoky, savory taste. Steaming, or pinasinga, often done in bamboo tubes or wrapped in banana leaves, gently cooked food while preserving its moisture and nutrients. Boiling, or nilaga, was used to create hearty broths and stews, often soured with local fruits like tamarind or guava. These techniques did not require fancy equipment, only an open fire and a deep understanding of the ingredients. They formed the bedrock of Filipino cooking, a tradition of simplicity and respect for the natural world. Preservation was also a key skill in a tropical climate where food could spoil quickly. Filipinos became masters of fermentation, creating products like bagoong, fermented shrimp or fish paste, and patis, or fish sauce. These ingredients added a powerful, umami-rich flavor to many dishes. Vinegar, made from coconut water, palm sap, or sugarcane, was another essential preservative. It was used not only to pickle vegetables and fish, like kinalaw, but also as a souring agent in cooking. This use of acidity is a defining characteristic of Filipino cuisine. It provided a way to preserve food long before refrigeration, and created a unique flavor profile that is both sharp and refreshing. This pre-colonial food culture was a complete and sophisticated system. It was self-sufficient, sustainable, and perfectly adapted to its environment. The flavors were bold and direct. The saltiness of the sea, the sourness of unripe fruits, the sweetness of coconut milk, and the smokiness of the grill. This was the culinary world that awaited the arrival of foreigners. It was not a blank slate, but a vibrant, living tradition with its own distinct identity. It was this strong foundation that allowed Filipino cuisine to absorb new influences without losing its soul. It was ready to take what the world offered and make it something new, exciting, and uniquely its own. The arrival of the Spanish in the 16th century marked a dramatic turning point in Philippine history, and its kitchen was no exception. For over 300 years, the Spanish introduced a wealth of new ingredients and cooking methods that would forever change the local food landscape. Galleon ships brought produce from the Americas, a world away. Suddenly, the native pantry expanded to include tomatoes, potatoes, bell peppers, and onions. Corn, cacao, and avocados found fertile ground in the tropical soil. The Spanish also introduced livestock like cattle and new techniques like sautéing with garlic and onions, known as guisado, which became a fundamental step in countless Filipino recipes. This infusion of new elements did not erase the native cuisine, it enriched it. Filipino cooks, with their characteristic ingenuity, began to experiment. They took Spanish dishes and adapted them to local tastes and available ingredients. The famous Filipino adobo is a perfect example of this beautiful culinary marriage. The indigenous practice of preserving meat in vinegar and salt met the Spanish technique of braising. Filipinos added their own touches, like soy sauce, a later Chinese influence, and bay leaves. The result was a dish that is neither purely Spanish nor purely Filipino, but a harmonious blend of both, a true symbol of cultural fusion. The Spanish also brought with them a love for fiestas and grand celebrations. This introduced more elaborate dishes, often reserved for special occasions. Lechon, the whole roasted pig, became the centerpiece of any important gathering, a tradition with Spanish roots but perfected with a Filipino touch. Crispy skin and tender meat often enjoyed with a liver-based sauce. Dishes like caldereta, a hearty meat stew, machado, a tomato-based beef flank, and relleno, stuffed chicken or fish, all have Spanish origins. Yet, in a Filipino kitchen, they are often made sweeter or richer, adapted to the local preference for bold and comforting flavors. The influence extended to desserts as well. The Spanish introduced baking and the use of eggs, milk, and sugar in sweets. This gave birth to beloved Filipino treats like leche flan, a rich caramel custard that is a direct descendant of Spanish flan but often creamier and denser. Ensaimada, a soft sweet bread topped with butter, sugar, and cheese, evolved from the Mallorcan ensaimada. These dishes show how Filipinos embraced new possibilities, taking the art of Spanish confectionery and making it their own. The Spanish era laid a new layer upon the native food culture, one of richness, complexity, and a flair for celebration. Long before the Spanish arrived, Chinese traders were already frequent visitors to the Philippine Islands. They came seeking goods and brought with them not just silk and porcelain, but also their rich culinary traditions. This early contact introduced some of the most fundamental elements of modern Filipino cuisine. Perhaps the most significant contribution was the noodle, or pancit. Chinese merchants brought various types of noodles, which Filipinos quickly adopted and adapted. Today, pancit is a staple at every birthday celebration, symbolizing long life, and comes in countless regional varieties, from the thin rice noodles of pancit bihon to the thick egg noodles of pancit canton. The Chinese influence went far beyond just noodles. They introduced the use of soy sauce, or toyo, and bean curd, called tokwa, which are now indispensable in Filipino kitchens. Soy sauce added a new dimension of savory, salty flavor that perfectly complemented the native use of vinegar. This combination of soy sauce and vinegar became the foundation for the iconic adobo marinade. The Chinese also brought with them the art of wrapping food. This led to the creation of lumpia, the Filipino version of the spring roll. Whether fresh, called lumpia sariwa, or fried, known as lumpia prito, this dish showcases Filipino creativity, with fillings adapted to local tastes, often featuring heart of palm, ground meat, or shrimp. The techniques introduced by Chinese traders were also transformative. Stir-frying using a wok became a common cooking method, allowing for quick and flavorful meals. This is seen in dishes like pancit and various vegetable stir-fries known as guisado. The Chinese also shared their knowledge of rice, introducing new ways to prepare it, such as creating savory rice porridges. The Filipino arroz caldo and goto are direct descendants of Chinese congee, but they have been thoroughly Filipinized with the addition of toasted garlic, green onions, a hard-boiled egg, and a squeeze of calamansi. This culinary exchange was a gentle and gradual process of integration. Unlike the Spanish influence, which was tied to colonization, the Chinese influence came through centuries of peaceful trade and settlement. This allowed for a more organic blending of food cultures. Chinese ingredients and methods were not imposed, but were adopted and woven seamlessly into the existing fabric of Filipino cooking. This is why dishes like siopao or steam buns and siomai or dumplings feel so inherently Filipino today. They are a testament to a long and friendly relationship, a shared history that continues to be celebrated in the delicious, comforting flavors found on every Filipino dining table. The turn of the 20th century brought another major power to the Philippines, the United States. The American period, which lasted for about 50 years, introduced a new wave of culinary changes, all driven by industrialization and, modern convenience. The Americans brought with them canned goods, processed foods, and a taste for all things fast and efficient. Canned meats like Spam, corned beef, and Vienna sausages became staples in many Filipino pantries. Refrigeration and pressure cooking were also introduced, changing how food was stored and prepared. This was really the era of practicality, a stark contrast to the slow-cooked stews of the Spanish era. Filipino resourcefulness once again took center stage. Instead of simply consuming these new products as they were, Filipinos transformed them into beloved local dishes. The iconic breakfast meal, Spam Salog, is a perfect example. A slice of fried Spam is served alongside garlic fried rice, sinigang, and a fried egg, or itlog, creating a simple yet incredibly satisfying meal. This silog formula was applied to countless other proteins, from corned beef, corn salog, to native sausages, long salog, showcasing a brilliant adaptation of foreign convenience to the Filipino palate. These dishes represent a unique form of culinary creativity born out of a new, modern reality. The American sweet tooth also left a lasting mark, particularly on one surprising dish, spaghetti. The Italian-American classic was introduced, but Filipinos made it entirely their own. Instead of a savory, herb-based tomato sauce, Filipino-style spaghetti features a sweet sauce, often made with banana ketchup, a local invention from World War II, when tomatoes were scarce. The sauce is typically loaded with sliced hot dogs and ground meat, then topped with a generous amount of processed cheese. To an outsider, it may seem unusual, but to Filipinos, it is the taste of childhood parties and family gatherings, a sweet, nostalgic, and uniquely Filipino comfort food. This period also saw the rise of American-style fast food, salads, and sandwiches. Mayonnaise became a key ingredient, leading to the creation of Filipino-style macaroni salad, another party staple that is often sweet and creamy, filled with chicken, pineapple, and raisins. The concept of the hamburger was adopted, but often served with a distinctly sweet and savory flavor profile. The American influence was less about traditional techniques and more about new products and a culture of speed. It was an influence of modernity, which Filipinos embraced and cleverly integrated into their daily lives, proving once again their remarkable ability to take any ingredient from any culture and make it delicious in their own way. What emerges from this long history of foreign contact is not a confused collection of borrowed recipes, but a distinct and harmonious cuisine. Filipino food is a masterful fusion, a culinary melting pot where diverse influences have been simmered together over centuries. The true genius of Filipino cooking lies in its ability to take these disparate elements, the sourness of native vinegar, the savory notes of Spanish stews, the umami of Chinese soy sauce, and the convenience of American canned goods, and blend them into something completely new. This process of Filipinization is the heart and soul of the cuisine. It's a process of tasting, adapting, and making every dish suit the local palate. The defining characteristic of this unique taste profile is the interplay of contrasting flavors. A single Filipino dish often contains a combination of salty, alat, sour, asim, sweet, tamis, and savory, linamnam. Think of the classic adobo, where the saltiness of soy sauce balances the sourness of vinegar. Or consider sinigang, a beloved sour soup, where the sharp taste of tamarind is mellowed by the richness of the meat and the freshness of the vegetables. This love for bold flavor combinations is what really sets Filipino food apart. It's a cuisine that is not afraid to be loud and complex, to delight the senses with a symphony of tastes in every single bite. This blending of influences is also evident in the way meals are structured. A typical Filipino meal is a communal affair, with all the dishes served at once, not in separate courses. This allows diners to create their own flavor combinations on their plate. A piece of fried fish, prito, might be dipped in a sauce of soy sauce, vinegar, and chili, or sausawan. A spoonful of rich, savory caldereta might be eaten with plain steamed rice to balance its intensity. This freedom to mix and match is central to the Filipino dining experience. It reflects the fusion in the cuisine itself, a dynamic and interactive way of eating that celebrates personal preference and shared enjoyment. Ultimately, the great fusion of Filipino cuisine is a story of identity. It's a reflection of the nation's history, a tapestry woven with threads from Asia, Europe, and North America. But the final pattern is unmistakably Filipino. The food tells a story of a people who have weathered colonization and embraced global connections without ever losing their core identity. They took what was brought to their shores and, with creativity and resilience, transformed it. The result is a cuisine that is as diverse and vibrant as the Filipino people themselves, a true culinary masterpiece born from the accidents of history and the enduring spirit of adaptation. Every dish in the Philippines tells a story. It's a story of place, of history, and of the people who cook and eat it. The vast archipelago, with its diverse geography and local cultures, has given rise to countless regional specialties. These dishes are expressions of local ingenuity, making use of the ingredients that are most abundant in a particular area. In the Bicol region, for example, where coconuts and chili peppers are plentiful, you'll find dishes like Bicol Express. This fiery pork stew, simmered in coconut milk and loaded with chilies, is a perfect reflection of its environment. It speaks of the region's agricultural bounty and its people's love for spicy food. Travel to the province of Pampanga, known as the culinary capital of the Philippines, and you'll discover a different story. Here, the Spanish influence is particularly strong, resulting in more complex and refined dishes. This is the birthplace of sisig, a sizzling dish made from chopped pig's face and ears, seasoned with calamansi and onions. It's a dish born from resourcefulness, originally made from the leftover parts of the pig that were not used for lechon. Today, it's a celebrated delicacy, a testament to the Kapampangan ability to turn humble ingredients into something extraordinary. Each region proudly offers its own unique flavors, creating a rich and varied culinary map of the country. Even the most common dishes have stories to tell. Take lumpia. Its history traces the path of Chinese traders across the archipelago, but its form changes from place to place. In Manila, you might find lumpia hubad, naked lumpia, which is the filling served without the wrapper. In Cebu, you find enggohyong, a 5-spice scented fried spring roll that has a distinct local flavor. These variations are not just about taste, they're about local identity. They show how a single concept was embraced and then reinterpreted by different communities, each adding their own chapter to the story of the dish. This regional diversity is a vital part of what makes Filipino cuisine so fascinating. It shows that the process of adaptation is not a single national event, but a continuous, localized one. It's a story being written every day in kitchens from the northern mountains of Luzon to the southern islands of Mindanao. Whether it's the seafood kinalaw of the coastal areas, which celebrates the freshness of the local catch, or the hearty meat stews of the Central Plains, each dish is a delicious piece of cultural heritage. It's a taste of a specific place, a specific time, and the enduring creativity of the Filipino people. The story of Filipino food is not over. It's a living, breathing legacy that continues to evolve. The Filipino table is a place where the past and present meet. It's where cherished family recipes, passed down through generations, are served alongside new and innovative dishes. This connection to family is perhaps the most important ingredient in Filipino cuisine. Food is the language of love, of care, and of community. A gathering is not complete without a feast, and a feast is not complete without family and friends to share it with. It is through these shared meals that traditions are kept alive and memories are made. Today, a new generation of Filipino chefs is taking this rich legacy and reimagining it for the 21st century. Both in the Philippines and around the world, these culinary artists are exploring the depths of their heritage. They are deconstructing classic dishes, experimenting with modern techniques, and showcasing local, sustainable ingredients. They are proving that Filipino cuisine can be both traditional and contemporary, comforting and sophisticated. They are telling the story of Filipino food to a global audience, earning it the international recognition it has long deserved. This new chapter is one of confidence, pride, and boundless creativity. This ongoing evolution ensures that Filipino cuisine will never be static. It will continue to absorb new influences and adapt to changing times, just as it always has. The spirit of resourcefulness that turned canned Spam into a breakfast classic is the same spirit that now inspires a chef to create a new kind of adobo or a deconstructed halo. It is a spirit of playfulness, of curiosity, and of a deep-seated desire to create something delicious. This ensures that the Filipino table will always be an exciting place, full of familiar comforts and delightful surprises for generations to come. So, the next time you sit down to a Filipino meal, whether it's your first time or your 100th, take a moment to savor the story in every bite. Think of the ancient mariners, the Spanish friars, the Chinese traders, and the American innovators who all left their mark. But most of all, celebrate the Filipino spirit that brought it all together. You are invited to explore this remarkable cuisine, to try the salty, the sour, and the sweet. Perhaps it will even inspire you to reflect on your own food stories, on the dishes that connect you to your family, your history, and your home. For in every culture, food is more than just sustenance, it is the taste of who we are.